Live from the BDN Studios, it's Bang and Dang.
That's awesome.
If you don't like that, then
You ain't black.
Welcome back to Battles of Makers of a War with your hosts, Bang Dang, and 1 week before the start of the Siege of Vicksburg. And just like last episode, we got another 3 episodes. Well, last episode we only had 2, but this time all 3 episodes or battles today going to be all about leading up, setting the stage for the siege. Because Grant ain't messing around. He's coming and he says, I'm taking Vicksburg, whether you rebel bastards like it or not. And he will. We got the Battle of Jackson's, which if you remember last episode, that's where Pemberton withdrew to. And then we have Champion Hill after that on the 15th. Battle of Jackson's the 14th. And then we have Big Black River on the 16th before the siege begins on the 18th. So, all right. So with that, we got the Battle of Jackson fought May 14th, 1863 in Jackson, Mississippi. After entering the state of Mississippi in late 1863, April 1863, Ulysses S. Grant of the Union moved his force inland to strike at the strategic Mississippi River town of Vicksburg, clearly. In early 1863, Ulysses S. Grant was planning operations against the strategic Confederate-held Mississippi. Yeah, we already know. I mean, clearly. After the early efforts failed, which we've covered already, Grant decided to move south of the city on the opposite side of the river and then cross the Mississippi to move against the town and its garrison. Late April, 24,000 Union soldiers were landed at Bruinsburg, Mississippi as part of that plan, which we will come to see come to fruition right now.
Right. General Grant and his men fought their way inland and then moved east with the intention of later turning to the west and attacking Vicksburg from that direction. The movement was conducted in 3 columns. Meanwhile, Confederate troops from across the country were dispatched to reinforce the defenders of Vicksburg. The reinforcements gathered at Jackson, Mississippi, and on 10th of May, General Joseph E. Johnston was sent to command the growing force. This dude must have like a vacation or something.
Hey, we haven't seen him at all.
Lieutenant General John Pemberton, the commander of Vicksburg garrison, ordered one of the units at Jackson, Brigadier General John Gregg's brigade, to move to the town of Raymond.
We already know what happened at the town of Raymond. One of the columns under the command of Major James McPherson encountered Gregg's Confederates near that town. The ensuing Battle of Raymond, which was a Union victory. Although McPherson's poor handling of the battle allowed the badly outnumbered Confederates to prolong the battle, which was not good.
Yeah, that was, both sides were stupid.
Yeah. Well, the fight in there changed Grant's approach to the campaign, and Grant's like, well, I guess I got to come and consolidate all my army together because McPherson sucks.
Right.
And he's like, McPherson's not going to be able to take it alone, so Sherman, get your ass over there, and we'll all meet up, and we'll take this damn town, though. We'll do it together.
McPherson overestimating, and then Gregg underestimating. He's like, oh, they only got about 1,500 over there. And McPherson's like, dang, they got about like 30 G's up in this mofo.
So Grant's like, I need you guys to take Jackson, but McPherson, I don't think you're strong enough.
Right.
So Sherman, you're going to strike from the southwest while McPherson goes to the northwest and hit him from front and back. See what we can get him.
Front and back. Johnston, who had a reputation for defeatism, arrived in Jackson on the 13th of May. About 6,000 Confederate troops held the city, including Gregg's recently defeated men.
Yeah.
Although additional reinforcements were expected. I hope so, because 6,000 is not enough. During his journey to Jackson, Johnston had learned that Grant's army had moved into Mississippi, while Pemberton's force were holding a defensive position along the Big Black River. The Union force was between the Confederate positions. Johnston decided that Jackson could not be held in what the historians William L. Shea and Terrence Winchell described as unseemly haste. He sent a telegram to his commanding officers in Richmond, Virginia, stating, I am too late.
And he knew it, dude, already.
And he ordered the evacuation of the city. He was like, you guys need to get the hell out of here now.
Let's move.
Gold red.
Well, Johnson and his staff made the 25-mile retreat to Canton by rail. The rest of his army made the retreat on foot. Bastards. Gregg's men were tasked with serving as a rear guard at Jackson. While retreating, Johnston sent Pemberton a misleading message suggesting that Johnston's men would support Pemberton in an offensive movement when he had no intention of doing so.
Right.
Oh, no. The historian Donald L. Miller, supported by the Bang Dang Network, believes that this was designed to present the appearance and the official records that he was not abandoning Vicksburg. Yeah, he's like, I'll put it on record that. Right. But even though he was abandoning it.
Right. 14th of May, the Union soldiers made contact with Confederate rear guard about 5 miles from Jackson during a thunderstorm. Oh. 2 Confederate officers, Brigadier General W.H.T. Walker.
They're like, every candle's burning in this camp across town.
Right.
Right.
And Colonel Peyton Colquitt. They had formed a roadblock outside of the town with their brigades, but the rainfall forced the action to halt.
I bet.
During this,
Can't have wet powder and stuff, man.
right during the delay made by the rain, the Confederates learned of Sherman's approach and sent a unit of mounted infantry to confront his column. Oh shit!
Mounted infantry, cavalry.
He's like, I don't even know how to ride a horse. Do it. After the rain stopped, the unit isn't that a song?
Maybe.
The Union advance resumed. The delay from the rain had been necessary.
The delay from the rain had been necessary.
Boom, boom, boom. Paper cartridges used as time from coming. Waterlogged.
They were unusable, so McPherson, unsure, the strength of force he was facing initially, act cautiously, using artillery fire to probe the Confederate lines. Boom.
The delay during the rain had been necessary to prevent the paper cartridges used at the time from becoming waterlogged and unusable.
Yep, what I just said, pretty much.
McPherson, unsure of the strength of the force he was facing, initially acted cautiously.
Well, because of course.
Using artillery fire to probe the Confederate lines.
After determining that he was not facing a large force that he knows, McPherson ordered Brigadier General Marcellus Crocker's division to attack the Confederate lines.
Yeah, he's like, go.
Initial Confederate resistance cost McPherson about 300 casualties.
Dang.
But Crocker's attack forced the Confederate pickets back into the fortifications around Jackson, and the Union soldiers soon carried the main defenses as well.
Oh.
By the time McPherson's men had reached the fortifications, all of the Confederate defenders, except for crews of 7 cannons, had withdrawn. You might as well just get out of there, old cannoneers.
All right, jeez.
Sherman's advance met less opposition. Only a small amount of artillery fire resisted his advance, and Sherman detached the 95th Ohio Infantry Regiment to test the Confederate fortifications. The Ohio Regiment found that the position had been abandoned and were informed by an African-American civilian that only a token Confederate artillery force remained. When Sherman's overall advance occurred not long afterwards, these artillerymen were captured and found to be militiamen and armed civilians. So the Johnson was like, "Here, you guys, you want to defend your country?"
Right, there you go.
In addition to the 7 cannons captured by McPherson's men, Sherman took a further 10.
Okay.
17 altogether. Wow.
Nice.
And they're already low on artillery. The Union or the Confederates suck at artillery, so they needed those.
After taking the town, the Union soldiers, primarily Sherman's men, demolished infrastructure in the city. Factories, warehouses, other military and economic sites destroyed.
Why, if you're going to hold it?
That's so stupid. Grant and Sherman personally visited a textiles plant before Sherman ordered its destruction. Iron rails of the Southern Railroad, Mississippi, were damaged by bending them into circular shapes, known as Sherman's neckties. Despite official orders from Sherman prohibiting such behavior, civilian homes were also plundered and burned. Oh, when we were just talking about this?
They just did it at the last town.
Wow.
Raymond, they did it. Yeah.
Between fires that had been set by retreating Confederates destroying supplies and those set by the Union troops during the occupation, Jackson suffered significant fire damage. Almost.
And Jackson's a
big city.
Pretty big city nowadays.
Jackson, Mississippi. For a time, General Grant had his headquarters in the same building that Johnston had stayed while he was in town.
Yeah, they like to do that.
Right.
Didn't
He was like, where was Johnston staying? He was staying over here, sir.
Wasn't that the first thing Lincoln did?
I think so.
Was when they took Richmond. He went to Davis's office and sat behind his desk.
All right. I would. Why not? Right.
Yeah. Estimates of casualties suffered in the battle vary, which they usually do. The historian Shelby Foote stated that the Confederates lost a little over 200 men, while Grant lost 332, which was 48 killed, 273 wounded, 11 missing. Historians William M. L. Shea and Terrence Winchell Placed Union losses at 300. Who gives a shit? They're right in the 40s killed and 300 something wounded or casualties altogether. Civil War Battlefield Guide, edited by Francis Kennedy, gives Union losses at 286 men and Confederate losses at 850. Okay. That's a big difference. Almost all the Union losses were suffered by McPherson's Corps.
After Jackson was captured, the forces of Johnston and Pemberton were cut off from each other. And that's that battle. Right now, it's like they're on the risk board and they're taking over territories with
pretty sure
with only one guy on it.
Pretty sure the whole Confederate Army right now knows that Vicksburg's gone.
Oh,
you need these cities standing in the way to keep Vicksburg, and
they didn't even try it.
They're going down. Well, he couldn't. The dude was outnumbered 24,000 to whatever he had 5.
Yeah, but these towns should have been occupied.
You would think
occupados. Well, moving on to the Battle of Champion Hill. Who will become champion of this hill? 16th of May, 1863 was a pivotal battle.
The pivotal battle
in the Vicksburg campaign.
This is the one that actually set up to get into the city.
Following Union occupation of Jackson on the 14th of May, both Confederate and Federal forces made plans for future reparations.
And reparations, yes. I would assume so.
General Joseph E. Johnston, commanding all Confederate forces in the Mississippi, retreated with most of his army up the Canton Road. However, he ordered Lieutenant General Pemberton, commanding 3 divisions totaling about 23,000 men, to leave Edwards Station and attack the Federals at Clinton. Pemberton and his generals felt that Johnston's plan was likely to result in disaster and decided instead to attack the Union supply trains moving from Grand Gulf to Raymond. 16th of May, though, Pemberton received another message from Johnston repeating his former orders. He's like, you listen here,
you better get your ass over there where I told you.
Pemberton had already started after the supply trains and was on the Raymond-Edwards Road with his rear at a crossroads 1/3 mile south of the crest of the Champion Hill, when he obediently ordered a countermarch.
Good boy, Pemberton.
Right. Including his supply wagons, had become the vanguard of his attack.
Around 7 a.m., May 16th, Union forces engaged the Confederates, and the Battle of Champion Hill began. Pemberton's forces formed into a 3-mile-long defensive line that ran southwest to northeast along a crest of a ridge overlooking Jackson Creek.
Holy shit.
Well, Grant wrote in his personal memoirs, where Pemberton had chosen his position to receive us. Where Pemberton had chosen his position to receive us, whether taken by accident or design, was well selected. It is one of the highest points in that section and commanded all around in the range.
And it's
ground in the range.
And he has a 3-mile freaking radius. Jeez.
Well, Pemberton was unaware that one of the 3 Union columns was moving along the Jackson Road against his unprotected left flank on Champion Hill, though. And he posted Brigadier General Stephen D. Lee's Alabama Brigade on Champion Hill, where they could watch for a Union column reported moving on the crossroads.
Why would that be there in the first place anyway?
I don't know, man.
Lee soon spotted the Union troops, and they also spotted Lee.
You know what they say? You can see, if I can see you, you can see me.
If the enemy force was not stopped, it would cut the Confederates off from their Vicksburg base. Pemberton was warned of the Union movement and sent troops to defend his left flank. Union forces at Champion House moved into action, and their artillery fire began. When Grant arrived at Champion Hill at about 10 a.m., he ordered an attack to begin. John A. McClernand's, this guy, his corps attacked on the left, and James McPherson's on the right. William T. Sherman's corps was well behind the others, departing from Jackson. By 11:30 a.m., the Union forces had reached the Confederate main line. 1 p.m., they took the crest. The troops from Carter Stevenson's division retired in disorder. McPherson's corps swept forward, capturing the crossroads and closing the Jackson Road escape route. Jeez, how the hell? 23,000 men.
I don't know. Well, the division of John Bowen counterattacked in support of Stevenson, pushing the Federals back beyond the Champion Hill crest before their surge was halted. However, they were too few to hold the position, and Pemberton directed William Loring to send forces from the southern area of the line, where they were only lightly engaged with McClernand's ineffective attack when they were sent to reinforce the hill. However, Loring refused to budge, citing a strong Union presence to his front. Grant, now counterattacked, committed his forces that had just arrived from Clinton by way of Bolton. Pemberton's men could not resist this assault, and he ordered his men to use the one escape route still open, which was the Raymond Road crossing of Baker's Creek. He said, "We got to get the hell out of here, guys.
This Pemberton guys
we are getting overrun everywhere we go." But Grant's just coming in like a fucking bulldozer, dude.
Ridiculous. How they all should have been doing it the whole time. By now, Loring had decided to obey Pemberton's order and was marching toward the fight by a circuitous route that kept them out of action for some time.
Yep.
Brigadier General Lloyd Tilghman's brigade formed the rear guard and held at all costs, including the death of Tilghman himself, which was killed by artillery fire. Late in the afternoon, Grant's troops seized the Baker's Creek Bridge, and by midnight they had occupied Edwards. The Confederates fell back to a defensive position at the Big Black River.
Well, it ain't going to help you there either.
Right.
Guys.
Right in front of Vicksburg. They're like, oh, shit, we can't back up anymore. The Battle of the Big Black River Bridge the next day would be the final chance for Pemberton to escape.
Yep. Well, area 4,000 acres was listed as a Champion Hill battlefield on the Register of Historic Places in 1971. The listing covered 4,000 acres, which we just said, including 3 contributing buildings and a contributing site and 1 contributing object. What is that? It's a rock or something?
Fantastic.
It was further designated a National Historic Landmark in 1977 and is located about 3 miles southwest of Bolton, Mississippi. Okay, so not even really in the town. Oh, Champion Hill is a hill. I was thinking of Jackson. Large section of the battlefield remain well preserved, including original roads, as evidenced by a view of the field from approximately the site of the Davis sketch of the battle. The map reference refers to the small stone historical marker at the corner of Billy Fields Road and D.J. Johnson Road, very central in the field. So that'd probably be a cool one to go visit, huh?
Right, and check that out, shit, right? Where?
In Bolton, Mississippi.
Mississippi, huh?
Right outside of Jackson.
Right. Boo. As of October 2012, residential development had encroached on limited parts of the field near the center along D.J. Johnson Road. Thousands of acres of the core battlefield are privately owned, listed as 2.1. Class A.
Which is opportunity for comprehensive preservation, good integrity, and a low threat for being disturbed.
Class A?
That means it's in good shape and no threat of getting built on anytime soon.
Right. And that part is owned by the state of Mississippi. These properties are being held for possible future inclusion of the Vicksburg National Military Park. American Battlefield Trust has been able to protect 868 acres of the battlefield through conservation easements and land purchases through late 2021. 2021, guys.
Right.
October 2007. Whoa, jumping all over the fucking place, huh? Sid Champion, together with 3 family members who co-owned the land.
Damn, the Champions still own that land.
Fantastic.
Dude. Wow.
They worked with the trust to craft a unique easement to protect 147 acres of the family farm, comprising a key part of the field. 795 acres preserved by the trust and its partners at Champion Hill through mid-2018 includes a 319-acre tract acquired for $1.28 million and announced in May 2017.
All right. Well, the Coker House stands adjacent to the south portion of the Champion Hill
The
battlefield.
Coker House, yeah.
It was used as a hospital by federal forces, and upon departing, the Yankees extensively looted both the house and the plantation stores.
I'm sure they did.
Bullet holes in the front door and jam and cannonball holes on the west side of the Coker House remained as evidence of the battle.
Yeah, didn't we do this?
Nope. 1985, that was a different one.
Sure?
Yeah, we haven't been here before. Maybe. 1985, the historic property was donated to the Jackson Civil War Roundtable, which later deeded. 2005, the house was in ruins, but has since been rebuilt using the original materials as much as possible, as they had deteriorated far to be restored.
I mean,
historical markers at the house detail the battle and the history. Hiawatha, which is Yiser House, is one of the only few structures from the battlefield that has survived.
fantastic.
2006, it was moved 11 miles east to Raymond, Mississippi, and restored by Peggy and Bobby DeLauder.
Why move it? Leave that shit there, man.
House was used as a hospital during the battle and is where Confederate General Lloyd Tilghman was brought after being fatally wounded.
The house means nothing.
They moved it to restore it and then brought it back, I would assume.
I doubt it. But the house means nothing if you move it somewhere else.
They moved it to restore it. Why would they move it and keep it in Raymond when it was clearly in...
That's where they're going to keep it.
No.
Yeah, I bet. The battle over the Big Black River Bridge was fought on 17th of May, 1863. The night before, after defeat on Champion Hill, Pemberton formed a line at the crossing of the Big Black River in order to buy time for his army. For this rear guard, Pemberton selected the Missouri troops of the Bowens Division, Brigadier General John C. Vaughn's Tennessee Brigade, and the 4th Mississippi Infantry Regiment. This force numbered about 5,000 men. Not enough,
man. You guys
doesn't he know
learned?
this by now? The left of the Confederate line was held by Brigadier General Martin E. Greene's brigade of Bowen's division. Vaughan's brigade held the center. Bowen's other brigade, commanded by Colonel Francis M. Cockrell, was positioned on the Confederate right.
Damn, so there's a cockerel on both sides, huh?
Oh, no shit. Brothers for bro. Bro with bro.
Maybe.
The 4th Mississippi was placed between Cockrell and Vaughn. Vaughn's brigade was composed of inexperienced conscripts. Bowen's division had seen heavy fighting at Champion Hill.
Interrupting here for a minute. Did you know that Stonewall Jackson's sister was a devout Union supporter?
I'm sure.
So much so that her husband was a Confederate supporter, and she left him because of it.
No shit.
And went to the Union side, and when Stonewall died, she was like, good. I'd rather him be dead than him out there commanding those rebel traitors.
Vaughn's brigade was composed of inexperienced conscripts. Bowen's division had seen heavy fighting at Champion Hill the previous day, right?
Yep.
Confederate line was supported by Wade's Missouri Battery, Landis's Missouri Battery, Goober's Missouri Battery. A railroad ran through the Confederate position, and the river could be crossed either over the railroad bridge or over a steamboat that had been positioned crossways across the river, creating a makeshift bridge. Fantastic. I think I'll do the railroad.
Morning of.
Right?
May 17th. 17th, morning of. Morning of May 17th, McClernand's 13 Corps advanced towards the Confederate position at the Big Black River. Brigadier General Eugene A. Carr's division led the way and deployed to confront the Confederate lines. Brigadier General Michael K. Lawler formed the right of the Union line, and Carr was soon reinforced by Brigadier General Peter J. Osterhaus's division. Artillery duel began, and Osterhaus was wounded in the leg by a shell fragment. After some preparations, Lawler's brigade charged, quickly breaking the Confederate line. Vaughn's brigade routed to the rear, and the gap in the line quickly forced Greene's brigade to retreat as well. So the story goes for the Confederates. In the last 4, 5, 6 battles, Lawler's charge had only lasted 3 minutes.
Oh. Just like when he's with his wife in bed. His charge.
I don't know why after this. Well, I guess the Battle of Gettysburg saved who the hell, I can't remember who's looking over the Army of the Potomac, but I don't know how after this they didn't immediately put fucking Grant in charge of taking Richmond.
Right. Cockrell's brigade also collapsed in much disorder. One survivor summarized the retreat as, "The devil take the hindmost being the order of the day." Damn, that dude is a Confederate for sure.
Devil take the hindmost being the order of the day. What? Whatever that means.
1st and 4th Missouri Infantry Regiment, consolidated by now.
Hey, just like the 50th and 10th from last episode.
Right. Served as a rear guard for the retreating Confederates, as it was one of the few units still in functioning order. The Confederates lost a number of cannons in the retreat due to an error.
Oh my, dude. They've already lost 17.
The horses for Wade's battery, also gone. Goober's battery, also gone. And a portion of Landis' battery had been positioned. No, all these guys have been positioned. Damn. The Confederates lost a number of cannons in the retreat due to an error. They can't afford to lose any more cannons.
Sure can't.
Barely have any now. The horses for Wade's battery, Goober's battery, and a portion of Landers' battery had been positioned on the far side of the Big Black River and were not available to haul off the cannons.
Well, in total at this battle, the Confederates lost 18 cannons at the Big Black River to go along with the 17 at the last battle. The retreating Confederates burned both the bridge and the steamboat serving as a bridge, and those who escaped the Union Army joined the fortifications at Vicksburg.
Really?
Sergeant William Wesley Kendall of the 49th Indiana Infantry Regiment was awarded the Medal of Honor in this battle for leading a company in the main Union charge. He was among the first Union soldiers to enter the Confederate fortifications. Nice.
All right, whatever. Confederates lost 1,751 men. Almost 1,700 of the losses were in prisoners.
Clearly.
Damn. Union casualties totaled either 273 or 276. After Big Black River Bridge, the Siege of Vicksburg began on the 18th of March. The site of the battle was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1971 as the Big Black River Battlefield.
Bears beats Battlestar Galactica.
Right. As of 2020, portions of the piers of the railroad bridge existing during the battle still remain at the crossing of the Big Black River. Fantastic. A trail runs along the riverbank.
Just along the riverbank.
A trail runs through it. A trail runs along the riverbank, and a historical marker is placed in the vicinity of the battlefield. In the vicinity, just 400 yards from here. Although 3.7 miles from here, there was a battle that took place. Although the battlefield itself is still privately owned, fantastic. The Civil War Trust has acquired and preserved 28 acres of the battlefield. They're like, we want to buy the very middle of this battle. They're like, what?
All right, got an island in the right,
which means they get to have a drive.
Well,
the whole property
still have to be approved by the other landowners.
Well, they don't have access to it.
No.
They're like, no, dude, you have to come in
by
by helicopter,
motherfuckers. If you can't do that, I don't know.
Or a fucking hot
I
air
don't know
balloon,
what
but
to
don't
tell
do that.
you.
You're shooting them down nowadays. How many Northerners fought for Confederate? Some Unionists initially opposed the section. Others severely feared. How many? About 2 million white soldiers? Damn. Dude, they had 2 million people in the army that fought during the Civil War. That wasn't even what?
Well, Confederacy's population was 5.5 million free and 3.5 million slaves. I would assume the Union's one would be a little bit more than that. 7, 8 million.
So what, 20 million?
Population of Union was 18 million. Holy shit. Well, you can figure New York,
so
Chicago, all that shit.
30 million.
What are you talking about? With all of them together, it was only fucking 24 million.
Right, but about 30.
In the border states, there was 2.5 million free inhabitants. So, well, yeah, 28 million altogether for the whole Union.
Dude, in 150 years, it went from 25 million to 330 million, 340. Yep. Holy shit.
With that, we'll be back next week. We'll cover the whole siege of Vicksburg, followed by, and in between that time, while Vicksburg's going on, we'll have Battle of Plains Store in Louisiana, a couple Louisianas, Siege of Port Hudson, Battle of Milliken's Bend. Anyways, we'll be back next week for the Siege of Vicksburg. We're about the Michiganders with bang and dang. I'm not even giving you the privilege.
Yeah.